Does it feel like every time you leave the house, money just evaporates? Groceries, coffee, rent, streaming, even fast food. Somehow it all feels more expensive than it used to. You keep hearing that inflation is cooling, but your bank account says otherwise. So what's really going on? In this video, we're breaking down why everything feels more expensive, what's actually changed in the economy, and how much of this is real versus your brain playing tricks on you. Stay to the end, and I'll share a few practical things you can do so this doesn't feel so overwhelming. First, we need to clear up a basic confusion: inflation versus prices. Inflation is the rate at which prices are rising, not the price level itself. So when news headlines say inflation is coming down, they mean prices are rising more slowly, not that they're going back to what they were in 2019. Think of it like driving on the freeway. If you slow down from 80 to 60 miles an hour, you're still moving forward. You just aren't speeding up as aggressively. That's what cooling inflation looks like in your wallet. Things are still expensive, but they're not accelerating upward quite as fast as before. Here's another reason it feels so bad. The last few years were unusually intense. In many countries, prices jumped quickly across everyday items like food, energy, and rent. Those jumps stack on top of each other. A 10% increase followed by another 5% doesn't feel like a cooling trend when you're the one paying. On top of that, some of the categories we notice the most, like gas and groceries, are the ones that moved the fastest, so they anchor our perception of how expensive life is now. Even if some prices have stabilized, your mental baseline is still anchored to what you used to pay years ago, and that gap is painful. Then there's the sneaky cousin of inflation, shrinkflation. That's when the package size quietly gets smaller, but the price stays the same or even goes up. Maybe your chips bag has more air than chips, your cereal box is thinner, or your chocolate bar lost a few squares. This is a way for companies to manage their costs without putting an obvious price hike on the shelf. You might not notice the change right away, but once you do, it feels like you're being tricked, which only adds to the sense that everything is getting more expensive and less fair. Another reason life feels so expensive is that your biggest non-optional costs have climbed a lot. In many places, rent and home prices have outpaced incomes for years, turning housing into a huge monthly headache. Add childcare, healthcare, insurance, and maybe student loans on top, and it can feel like your core bills are eating your entire paycheck before you even live your life. When those fixed costs are high, every little price increase on groceries or streaming hurts more because there just isn't much slack left in your budget. Now let's talk income. In some sectors, wages have gone up, especially for in-demand jobs, but many people feel their pay hasn't kept up with their cost of living. Even if your salary rose a bit, if prices for essentials rose faster, your real buying power may have gone down. That mismatch between what you earn and what life costs is a huge part of why everything feels out of reach. It's not just the price of stuff, it's the gap between your income and your bills. On top of the math, our brains are wired in ways that make this all feel even worse. We remember the old prices and anchor to them, so every new price feels like a loss, even years later. We also notice frequent purchases more than rare ones, so the price of gas or eggs hits our emotions way harder than, say, a laptop we buy every few years. And when money is tight, each small annoyance stacks. The subscription that went up $1, the fees, the service charges. It creates this constant low-level stress that makes it feel like you can never get ahead. Okay, so what do you do with all of this? You can't personally control global inflation, but you can control how clearly you see your own situation. Start by getting brutally honest about your numbers. What's coming in, what's going out, and which expenses actually move the needle. Focus on the big rocks first: housing, transportation, debt, and recurring subscriptions. Before you stress over small luxuries like the occasional coffee. Next, look for areas where prices have jumped, but you still have choices. That might mean switching brands, buying in bulk, cooking more at home, or sharing subscriptions with family. Little changes won't fix everything, but they stack over time just like price increases do. If it feels like the system is stacked against you, you're not imagining it. Prices really did jump, and some of the most painful increases hit the things we can't easily avoid. At the same time, understanding what's happening, inflation versus prices, shrinkflation, and the psychology behind it, gives you back a bit of control. If you found this helpful, hit like so more people see it, and subscribe if you want more clear, no-nonsense breakdowns of money and the economy. And in the comments, tell me, what's one thing that suddenly feels way more expensive in your life?